long been called the Monaco of the North. Granville is an old pirate town, built around a set of 15th century ramparts. With its granite houses and its narrow streets, reminders of the past are everywhere in this Normandy port. Catherine fell in love with the old town over 10 years ago.
You can imagine the horses and the sound of their hooves on the cobbles. You can imagine the clothes, the children screaming, people selling fish from their stalls, the shouts in the street. That's what's exciting.
Stendhal, Hugo and Michelet all spent time in Granville. Some of France's greats were also born here, like Christian Dior. It was behind these walls that the fashion designer was born in 1905. He spent the first years of his life in this house, which has now been converted into a museum.
He was really taken by all the colours in Granville. Two of them especially, pink, the pink of this house and the pink of the roses in the garden. And then grey, the grey of the changing skies here. Sometimes we are lucky enough to have some blue, but very often it's grey.
Christian Dior went on to spend his life in Paris, but he never forgot the beauty of his hometown. We're leaving Granville behind to head northeast along the coast to Trouville-sur-Mer.
You can start to see the beautiful casino now, and just next to it there's the marine spa and then the fish market.
For 130 years, fishermen and fishmongers have been selling their wares here at all hours of the day.
In Normandy, you have to go to the Trouville fish market. It's a must.
You can't not come here. Just have some wine and some oysters.
Just opposite is Les Vapeurs, one of the oldest restaurants in town.
So this is really the historic dining area that's almost unchanged since 1927, when the restaurant first opened. What makes it special is this long room with these tables lined up snugly next to each other.
There's a kind of family atmosphere. It's like eating with a close circle of friends. We come both for the food and for the setting.
We're now going even further back in time to the 19th century. The arrival of the railways heralded the birth of the seaside resort. It was a time when glamour took over Trouville, when aristocrats built spectacular villas. This is one of the first constructed on the seafront around 1850.
The goal was to show off your wealth and to always throw up some surprises. So it was all a bit of a race to have the most unique or the most beautiful house.
In each room, nearly everything has been preserved. The town of Trouville is almost a museum, with its treasures and its history carefully looked after. We move on now to the mouth of the River Seine in Honfleur. This picturesque port is best known thanks to the artists Gustave Courbet and Claude Monet. It's often nicknamed the Muse of Painters. On the corner of a cobbled street stands St. Catherine's Church, with its famous bell tower standing separately just opposite. It's been listed as an historic monument since 1875.
When we first walked in, we didn't know that it was a church. We thought it was just a market.
It's absolutely beautiful, with its reversed boat shape and with a very pretty double nave. It's absolutely stunning.
After the 100 Years' War, there was nothing left of Honfleur. And because the locals were very poor, they constructed this building, hoping that one day they could rebuild a church made out of stone. But this one stood the test of time.
It's one of the oldest buildings in France, built entirely out of wood.
They built the beams just as they built their boats at the time.
But one of the greatest architects in this region is still Mother Nature. Proof of that can be found in Étretat, with its 140 kilometers of spectacular cliffs. Erosion carved away these stunning chalk arches. The author Maupassant once likened this one to an elephant dipping its trunk in the sea. Hollow at the side, this needle seems to prop up the land. Legend has it that the treasure of the kings of France is hidden there.
What's interesting here is that you realize there's a real soundscape. Take a listen. Despite the little ripples, you can hear a few pebbles rattling.
We tend to talk about the environment as being something that's outside of us, that's all around us. But here, it feels like we're integrated in it, into the space and the nature that's here. We're all part of it.
Like its neighbours, Étretat became a very stylish tourist destination at the end of the 19th century, much to the astonishment of the locals in this fishing village.
It was a real show. There were 200 or 300 people who came to watch these swimmers bathe. They even saw the writer Guy de Maupassant take a dip.
Ever since, Étretat has become world famous as a seaside jewel in Normandy's crown.